depending on how boring it is.
I'm Dr. Marci, and I have my partner in crime, LeeAnna Buis, and we are with Feline Behavior Solutions. And today we are going to be talking about housesoiling issues. Hey, LeeAnna, do you know what today is?
Cat Poop Appreciation Day?
It is always Cat Poop Appreciation Day, but today happens to be my cats Oliver and Momo's birthday.
Aww.
September 2nd. They were born on the first day of school 12 years ago today.
I feel like we should be eating cake on their behalf.
I know. And hey, you know, like how I got my, okay, I did TikTok, right? And for some reason, I got a slew of new people following me like 3 or 4 days ago. It was awesome. And then I did this really cute happy birthday Oliver and Momo video on TikTok. And that was hours ago and nobody has seen it. Nobody has seen anything. I don't understand. I don't understand TikTok.
I don't think you should take it personally.
I don't
yet. I think at some point you probably should, but not yet because you're new there.
Okay. All right. Anyway, today we are talking about housesoiling, and
right before dinner too, which I think is brilliant that we're going to talk about cat pee and cat poop right as people are like cooking dinner and watching us while they're cooking dinner.
Yeah, for our West Coasties, but then the East Coasters, they've just eaten dinner, so that's going to be real nice. You know, this is like a little dessert.
We're making friends.
Yeah, so I love talking about housesoiling issues. Those are actually kind of my favorite consultations too. It's because it's like you need to sleuth stuff out. And that's what I like about it. You need to figure out what's going on and what are we trying to solve here? Why are they doing the thing that they're doing? And then how can we get them to do something else? So I did want to say that a lot of housesoiling issues can be resolved really quickly by simply making sure that your litter box setup is in tip-top shape. And I did a live broadcast all about that last week. So we're not going to repeat that. We're not going to go over the litter box setup stuff again this week. Today, we want to focus more on the different types of housesoiling, and then also talk about stress as a primary driver for housesoiling, and then take some questions. And if you want to pop some questions in the comments, hopefully we'll see those. And
hopefully some people will start watching us and then we'll see.
I think there are 6 people watching. Five people now.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Maybe it'll come back. I don't know. So feel free to write a question. So let's get into this. LeeAnna, yes. You've been doing consults for a while now, and I know you've had a bunch of housesoiling issues. Can you describe to me the types of housesoiling issues you've seen in your consultations?
I feel like this is a test.
It is.
Yeah, most of what I have seen has been either pain related, which we should talk about.
Yeah.
Or stress related. Ironically, I have very little litter box setup related, but the thing to think about with housesoiling issues and what you talked about in your last video is that, hi Jill, Berry 7, we got a little comment.
Yay, Jill!
So the thing to remember is that oftentimes, even if the litter box isn't what caused the inappropriate, you don't like that word, and I totally agree with you. The housesoiling, you still might need to do some litter box changes to fix it. So even though I say that litter box isn't necessarily the cause of the issue, that doesn't mean that I don't have my clients taking a really hard look at their litter box setup.
Right. Yeah. And I usually say there's kind of a 3-prong approach that I like to take. Oh, DQ just sent us a star, a moon, and a bat. So thanks, DQ. Anyway, I like to make sure that with any kind of housesoiling issue, we have a vet checked out, and they've looked for urinary crystals, bladder infections, that sort of thing, so that we can rule those things out. And LeeAnna, I want to ask you about the pain issue that you ran into.
Yeah.
The second thing I look at is litter box dissatisfaction, so red flags with the litter boxes. And then I look at stressors, so soiling. So getting back to that veterinary issue first, it's really important to identify any kind of medical issues, because if you don't address a medical or pain related issue, there is no amount of behavior modification or environmental modification that will resolve the problem. So LeeAnna, tell me about that pain issue that you had.
Yeah, so this one was really interesting. It was a very sudden onset of pooping outside the box, still peeing inside the box, and did the vet check. Everything came back fine, but during our conversation, there were a few red flags that came up to me that indicated maybe some paw pain. And the vet had actually checked the paws previously and said everything was fine. But we encouraged my client to go to a cats only vet, and they determined that he had severely infected paws and claws. So, my guess is that he was still peeing inside the box because he felt really uncomfortable not peeing in the box. But pooping he felt more comfortable doing outside the box, and it wasn't worth the pain that he felt in his paws when he used the box for that. So within 3 days of treating that, he started using the box again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that's a good thing to remember, is that when we talk about medical issues related to house soiling, we're not just talking about urinary and digestive. We're talking about any kind of joint pain as they get older. My cat one time fractured his tail, and that caused litter box issues. So a lot of symptoms that are not related to the litter box end up in or out of the litter box.
Yeah. Yeah. And seniors, we have to remember that adult and senior cats, even at like the age of 8, they can start getting joint pain. And
that's the crazy thing to me, is that cats can live to be, into their 20s, even in their 30s sometimes, but they're considered seniors at 8.
I know.
They spend the overwhelming majority of their life as senior kitties.
I know. I wonder if that needs to be changed as cats start living longer and longer lives.
Yeah. So I totally cut you off. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, okay, so DQ wrote, what are your thoughts on how soiling that only occurs upon the return of guardians from long trips? In other words, the minute they get home, the cat runs to their bed and urinates in their presence.
Love, baby.
Oh, what a backhanded compliment.
Right?
And Jill's cat is 17. Yeah, so DQ, I tend to think that every cat is different, and every cat has a different relationship with their guardians. And I think that cats like to intermingle scents to both self-soothe and help them feel more secure. When cats urinate on somebody's bed immediately upon return, and it surprises me that they don't often go, well, a lot of times they do go on their people's beds while they were gone, because they are like, where's my people? I need to mix my scent here in this bedding where my people's scent really is. I need to mix my scent to help me feel more secure. I'm wondering if upon coming home, there's such a shift in the energy of the home, and like, yes, the cat's people are home, and that can either cause stress if they don't have a great relationship with their people, or it can cause excitement if they do have a really good relationship with their people. It can be an incredible sense of relief for animals, and I'm wondering if it could be almost like a displacement behavior. You know how like when cats get really excited, they'll like run around to different scratchers and start scratching.
Yeah,
I'm
or sometimes
wondering
they'll do like the
if,
fake spray where the tail shakes.
yeah. So I'm wondering if cats can sometimes get such a huge sense of relief or whatever that change in energy level is when they first get home, that they go to the bed because that's where the scent is strongest
Yeah.
for their people, and then they go, I gotta mix my scent in with this. So those are kind of my thoughts. DQ, I don't know if you have anything similar. If you have any different thoughts, feel free to write that in the chat.
And if that's happening regularly for you when you come home from trips, maybe as soon as you walk in the door, kitties get the attention, close the bedroom door, and maybe do a little play session or a little food puzzle or something just to engage them and try to get them through whatever they were feeling in that moment that makes them think they need to go.
Yeah. But I think it's definitely worth looking at, and especially examining what that relationship is between the cat and the people. Is there tension there, or is there security, or separation anxiety? What's going on?
Yeah.
So let's see here.
Or Kathy, her feral peed on her pillow. That's always a bummer.
And I think Kathy said in a previous question that she used Feel Away occasionally, and that seemed to help resolve things. DQ wrote, I always call it tribute peeing. I totally agree. It's akin to tribute peeing. I like that too. I'm going to start using that. It's akin to scratching or marking in the presence of your owner, brought on typically by arousal or excitement or frustration, but mostly complimentary. Yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
Backhanded compliment, like you said.
Yeah. So Kathy, I think you left a comment on a previous post about Feel Away, and peeing on the pillow. I think it's very similar. Your scent is there, and it's a place where your scent is strongest. So you want to look at the relationship you have with your cat, and Feel Away is that synthetic facial pheromone that cats leave behind when they rub up against things. And so Feel Away can help in certain circumstances by telling a cat, oh, there's already a scent mark here. You don't need to put urine on top of that. So that's why Feel Away spray can be beneficial. Oh, Christopher Marcus Sigmund, my lovely husband, what if your cat won't sleep on your side of the bed?
Get out and just give your bed and the cat and to your wife and all the cats.
That's rough.
You go sleep on the couch.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we said we only wanted to talk about house soiling, so
yeah. Get out of here, Christopher.
This is Marci's husband. Yes.
Thank you for writing in, Chris. And Jill asked, how do you know when these talks are going to be? We've actually put on our calendar that we're going to do broadcasts like this 5:30 Pacific every Thursday.
Every single Thursday for the rest of eternity. It's
standing appointment. So we'll try to get reminders up and tell you what we're going to be talking about each week. But anyway, I want to turn things over to LeeAnna just as you try to take a drink of water.
It's actually ginger ale.
Ginger ale.
Did you have a particular topic in mind, or should I just wing it?
So in terms of your stress-related consultations, what have you been finding?
Well, cats are little stress balls. We like to think they're just super mellow. And, it's interesting because a lot of times as you're talking to people about their cats, they kind of start off saying, oh, no, super mellow cat, no anxiety, really chill, likes to hang out and relax and play. And the more you talk, the more you hear things like, oh, but yeah, they do run anytime the garbage truck comes by. And there is a cat outside the window that usually gets them riled up. And before you know it, they're saying, oh my gosh, I didn't realize my cat was so stressed out. And I don't feel like it's right for me to talk about the stress bucket because that's so your thing. But I love it so much that, cats, just like people do, cats carry their stress with them, and all their little stressors go into their little stress bucket. Different cats have different size buckets. The older they get, the smaller they get. Persians, I think, have smaller stress buckets than other cats. And
I can try to throw the stress bucket up on screen.
yeah, do
okay,
it.
let's try to. This is going to be the first. This is going to be
graphic.
first. Okay.
So, throughout the day, little stressors are going in the bucket, and on their own, they would be no big deal. I'm hungry and I'm out of food. A little stress goes in the bucket. I want to eat that fly in the window, but I can't catch it. A little stress goes in the bucket. But as those build up, oh, look at that.
Let's try. Let's see.
It's getting there.
So
as the stressors build up, that bucket eventually overflows, and that's when you start to get behavior issues like house soiling. So one of the biggest things you can do once you know that medical is good and that your litter box setup is perfect for your cat, not perfect for you, there's a difference. One of the best things that you can do is start working on ways to either stop stress from going into the bucket or find ways to let stress out of the bucket. And that's, usually with litter box issues, it's kind of a multi-layered approach. And a big piece of that is appropriate play, enrichment. Ooh, I'm moving.
I'm trying to figure out how to make this bigger. I can't.
I'm going to be done by the time you get it.
This is way too, I can't do it.
It was a good idea, though.
I know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So a lot of stresses you see are, owners are, as we just saw, owners are leaving frequently on vacation. More often than not, a new cat or a new dog has come into the house. Sometimes a new person coming or leaving. I had a situation where their roommate moved out and took their cat with them, and the cat that was left behind was really anxious about that.
Mm-hmm.
So there are all kinds of stresses that cats feel that we don't think about. And, I think a couple of the most important things that you can know about cats is that when they're having behavior issues, when they're house soiling, they're doing what comes natural to them. They're doing what, as cats, as predators, as little wild beasts, feels completely normal and natural to them. They're not trying to break rules. They're not trying to show you that they're angry. They're not doing something knowing it's the wrong thing to do. To your cat, if peeing in the box is not comfortable for some reason and peeing on the bed is, why wouldn't I pee on the bed? That's totally normal for them. Yeah. So, you have to get into your cat's mindset and try to figure out what sort of things are stressing them out from their perspective. And usually that can help you identify why they're having house soiling issues. And once you can remove those stressors, you see pretty dramatic results.
Yeah, I agree. One of the most important things to alleviate stressors in my book is play.
Yes.
And I'm
every section it's the play talk.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I talk about play with almost every single client. And stress really is that faucet at the bottom of the bucket that just releases stress from cats. And I recently had a client, and our consultation wrapped up. Her cat was peeing in her hallway like all the time. And we had to kind of halfway retrain her to use a different litter box. I can't say enough about these clients. They were amazing. And anyway, they started playing with Minnie, is the cat's name. And Minnie just made this complete transformation. And she looks forward to playtime. She is so much less stressed. She started using the litter boxes that we kind of trained her into using. And it was just a total transformation. And I tell people, okay, you know what? I know playing with your cat can sometimes be hard, but if you try it just religiously for 1 week, 15 minutes in the evening, followed by dinner, you are going to see some changes.
Even cats who won't play will play.
Yeah. Yeah. You just need the right toys. So you might not be giving them the right toys, or a different play style. Maybe your cat likes things to move slowly as opposed to super fast. Or, a lot of cats don't like toys when they dangle right in front of their face. That's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cats
So
can't see that well within about a foot of their faces.
that is true. That is very true. So, you want to make sure that you try new things when you're playing with your cats and see what they engage in, because some cats aren't in the habit of playing, and sometimes it takes them a little while to figure it out. So let them watch, let them stare at it. That is part of the prey sequence. And
Yes.
even if they get into that part and then slowly move on to, okay, I'm going to stalk and, chase after this thing. It's okay. It's all a progression of getting your cats the enrichment and the playtime that they need. But that can really help lower stress, which can really change house soiling issues in the home. So a lot of people confuse going outside of the litter box just simply to eliminate with spraying behavior. LeeAnna, what would you say is like, how do you define kind of the differences between those two behaviors?
Sure. So generally when you're talking about spraying, you're talking about marking, basically. That tends to happen more often around the perimeter of the house. So around doors, around windows, often because there's another cat outside that they can see or hear or smell. Most often it's going to be on vertical surfaces, but it can be on horizontal as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of the best ways to figure it out is if you can catch them in the act. Spraying tends to be a little more ceremonial. There'll be maybe some muffin making, the tail will be twitching. It's a little more involved, not digging like you would see in a litter box. So there's no digging, there's no covering. This is all about leaving a scent that someone else is, some other animal, but us, unfortunately, are going to stumble across or going to smell from a distance.
A lot of times I'll ask my clients, especially for cats who you find pee on carpet, are there scratch marks near there?
Yeah.
Do they try to cover it up? Spraying, they're not trying to cover anything up. They're like, hey, this is a mark here. I want you and you and you and you to smell this.
Yep.
And
we do.
Yeah. And sometimes it's confusing because some cats will actually spray horizontally.
Yep.
And some cats will urinate to empty the bladder standing up. Or they have like elevator butt,
Yep.
And those are cats. Some cats just do that. My cat
make
Abby.
it easy for us to figure out what's going on in their
So
heads.
you have to look at where they're spraying or where they're going to the bathroom. Are they covering up? Are they, what's the situation? What's the circumstances? And I wanted to say, Francesca, she had a comment on one of our posts. And I'm going to try to read that. But basically, she has an 11-year-old cat, a Devon Rex. And this kitty has been going outside of the litter box. The cat's name is Frodo. He's been peeing outside of the litter boxes for about the last year and a half. And he does have some health issues, and she's working with her vet. He may have Cushing's disease. And she also thinks that, so that could be contributing to it, because if cats aren't feeling well, that's a stressor in itself. But there are a lot of wildlife and neighborhood cats outside. And she does say that he always pees by doors and below windows. Well, that's a big clue.
Yeah.
A lot of times doors and windows are where cats will either see or smell the scent of cats and the appearance of cats outside. And to help them feel more territorially secure, cats will leave their urine in places where they feel insecure. So
and even sometimes poop, because urine isn't gross enough.
Yes.
Before you take that bite of spaghetti, let's talk about poop.
Yes. So Francesca wanted to know if crating was a solution for that. Let's talk about crating for a little bit, just a few minutes. This is not an approach that I like to take. And in the many years that I've been doing cat behavior consultations, I really only did that with one cat, and it didn't work. And I find crating to be extremely stressful for cats and their people, or locking in a bathroom, kind of a similar thing. So it's not, unless a cat is actually acclimated to enjoy hanging out in a special crate or a special room, then putting a cat into a crate to get them to relearn to use the litter box, sometimes it works, but it can cause a lot more stress, which can make things a lot worse. So I do not recommend crating as a solution. And it sounds, I would be curious to talk with Francesca to see if he's still using his litter box at all. Because if he is using his litter box, it sounds like he probably is for pooping, then he already knows what the litter box is for. So we don't need to retrain him to use the litter box. So we need to look at
something that's saying to him, I don't want to use that box.
Yeah, exactly. There could be something about the box setup that he doesn't like. You know, and many
uncomfortable
different
for him for some reason because of medical issues.
Yeah, exactly. So we mentioned poop. All right,
Hey.
let's talk about poop. Just trying to get my shit together. I changed it.
I love that.
Yeah.
That litter box is too small, by the way.
It is definitely too small.
1.5 times the size of your cat back there.
That is barely one length of the cat's butt. Yeah. So, pooping. All right. Now, LeeAnna, you mentioned that cats will also poop to mark.
Yeah.
What's that about?
They'll also poop to mark. It's called middening.
Yep.
It's gross, but it's the same idea. It's generally a territorial thing. I think probably more often than a commingling of scents thing.
Yeah. I think it's more of a visual marker because poop, when it dries, it doesn't really smell too much. And I just met with a Housesoiling client last week, and he said that one of his cats poops in the middle of the yard. In the middle of the yard. They have a lot of cats in the neighborhood that come around and patrol every day.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is my yard.
My yard.
Back off.
Here's my poop.
And, you know, interestingly, too, it's not just about I'm putting my smell here so you don't come here. Cats do timeshare deal. They're not so much this is my space, you can't ever come in it. They're more this is my space at certain times, so you need to avoid it then. So the strength of the scent that is coming off of whatever they're leaving behind can also be an indicator to other cats of how recently they were in that area.
Yeah, definitely. And then poop. When cats are, let's talk again about poop.
I never thought I would have a job where I talked about pee and poop multiple times every day.
Isn't it awesome?
Oh, yeah.
There's so many, like, yeah. Okay, so when cats are just pooping outside of the box, this to me is one of the hardest behavior issues.
Yeah.
Because I think the number that I've heard, about 70% of cases where a cat is just pooping outside of the box, there's a medical component to that. And that can be as little as a little bit of constipation or just a little bit of diarrhea.
My cat, the only time she has ever in 9 years gone outside her box has been when she's constipated.
Yeah. And that can cause a lack of control. So, you know, it's if your cat is pooping in random places around the house, you look at the consistency of it. We don't have to get into that, but talk to your vet about it, because more often than not, there's a medical component to this. It may not be purely medical, but there is often a medical issue. And I would love to know, you know, for those situations where it is a behavioral issue, I would love to get into a cat's head and go like, okay, now how is peeing and pooping different for you?
I have to think it's got something to do with, because like even I mentioned to my cat with the paw pain would still pee in the box. And I have to think that it's just something in the cat's mind about urine needs to go someplace that it can be soaked up.
Yeah.
You know, that I can bury it.
Yeah.
but maybe poop isn't so, I'm not so dramatic about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
We also make things up. Marci and I were talking about that before the call. That sometimes
we do make things up. Although
not about cat stuff.
No, just our own minds. If we're speculating for cats, we'll definitely say we're speculating or we don't know. And we can always look at it further, look at an issue further. But I would just love to talk to a cat and say,
right,
what's the difference between peeing and pooping in your mind?
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? Okay, so I want to get back to some comments. So Kathy wrote, we just got vet CBD and hoping that will help her. We have used it for 3 days and she's coming closer to me and letting me pet her. We're also putting a clear shower curtain on the area that she peed before, which is the left corner of 2 beds. All right. So it sounds like CBD is being used to help. I'm not a fan of CBD products because it's so unregulated right now. So I know that there are some really high grade manufacturers of CBD products. And so if you want to use that, I would just go for something that's really good. I mean, because a lot of people, they can just make it in their own, bathroom. And you just want to make sure that it's THC free because THC is toxic to cats. So if vet CBD is a high quality CBD product, then if it helps, great. Anything to reduce stress for our kitties. And then putting a clear shower curtain on bedding, I've heard about that. I found that when we're stressed out about something, cats get stressed out about things.
Yeah.
So if you need to do something to lower your stress about what a cat is doing, Housesoiling wise, then do that. I often recommend to my clients, get a waterproof blanket.
I have them on my furniture just because occasionally one of my cats throws up and I don't want to deal with it. Waterproof blankets are amazing. Some of them are really nice. You can get them that actually match your furniture. Take them off when company comes over. They will save you so much anxiety.
Yes. And then when you feel less anxious around your cats, they pick up on that. Yes. And then they're less stressed. And that stress level in the stress bucket goes down.
Because you've got to know that when you're stressed out, your cat doesn't know why you're stressed out. Your cat is just thinking, okay, mom and dad are on high alert about something.
So is there a predator around?
I need to be on high alert about something because something may eat me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
While we're on that topic, can we talk a little bit about how people should handle catching their cat in the act? So our first thought, is, stop, and you run over or you scold them. And I'm not judging. We've all done this. We probably still do it occasionally. You scold, you try to make a loud noise to startle them. You toss something in that direction to try to surprise them into stopping what they're doing. And while that's a natural reaction for us, we have to remember again that our cat don't think they're doing anything wrong. They're doing what seems natural and normal to them. They're fulfilling a need.
Absolutely.
And if we're doing anything that scares them, that startles them, that they don't understand, that's going to start to build negative associations between them and peeing, what they need to do. So your cat's anxiety level is going to go through the roof because every time they need to pee, they're going to be afraid that something's going to happen. They're going to start doing it when you're not around because that's a little less stressful for them. And it's really damaging to your relationship with your cat. So all of that can actually lead to more house soiling. So
and the other thing I was going to say is if you scare your cat can be taking off while they're still peeing, and then you have a much bigger mess to clean up. So
that's not fun either.
No.
Yeah, so just be aware that, when you're yelling at the cat, they don't know why, they don't understand that they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing, and you really can make things a lot worse.
Yeah. Okay, so Miss Judy Beal wrote, any thoughts around healthy cats who regularly pee, crouching down peeing, not spraying, upon personal items that you have just put down on the floor or on furniture, such as coats, clothing, blankets, bags, etc., even if they have already used the litter box recently? Yeah, so we talked a little bit about this kind of at the beginning of our talk today. And
it's mingling going on.
Right. Yeah. Intermixing those scents to help them feel a little bit more secure. Especially if it's associated with a specific person's scent, you want to look at that relationship. Are they trying to intermingle their scent because it helps them feel more secure to be combined with the person that they feel secure with? Or is there something going on in that relationship where they feel insecure about that person and they want to commingle that scent to firm up that bond? So yeah, we discussed that. So Judy, you can listen to the beginning of this.
You'll be fascinated. It's amazing, intelligent conversation that we're having here.
The very beginning, we talk about TikTok. Just get past that point. Just get past that point. Yeah. So anyway, we have been talking for 35 minutes. I don't really want to drag this on too much longer. LeeAnna, did you have anything else that you want to say?
Just maybe a couple of words about why cleanup, the appropriate cleanup, is so important. Because if your cat can still smell it there, then it's even more of an appropriate place for them to pee or poop. So enzymatic cleaners are a must. We like anti-icky poo personally. That's the only thing that's really going to do it. But the kicker there is that if you have ever used anything else, and right now what I'm hearing from a lot of clients is antibacterial wipes, because those are on hand a lot. Vinegar, I used to do that. You're the one that taught me not to. In case you guys don't know, I actually hired Marci as a behavior consultant to help me with my cat issues, and that's why I got into this business. She's the one that taught me don't use vinegar. But if you're using other things than an enzymatic cleaner, those other things are going to kill the enzymes in the cleaner that are actually supposed to do the good.
Yeah.
So you need to do a pre-treatment first to get rid of the old cleaners, then do the enzymatic. And that is so important. Because, cat noses, they're no joke. And if they can smell it, then it's going to make sense for them to go there again. So
Right. Yeah. So, and after you're done treating and letting that enzyme dry, you may have to reapply it a couple of times. And so Kathy just asked, can they still smell their scent after washing pillows several times? You know what? If that urine has gotten into the pillow, I would guess that it depends on how quickly you were able to wash it, how many times you washed it. Cat noses are super sensitive. They have 200 million scent receptors in their olfactory epithelium, whereas humans only have a measly 5 million. So cats smell within that range of dogs. And so it's likely that they can smell. Pillows, I kind of give up as a lost cause. You may have to just replace that. And so, yeah, it's tough. But then after you clean up and you've applied that enzyme cleaner, then I usually recommend spritzing it a couple of times, 2 or 3 times a day with Feel Away spray. Because again, that's going to create a scent mark that tells the cat, hey, there's already a smell here for you. You don't need to put some urine down. Yeah.
And on that note, just because I think this is something a lot of people don't know, and we like to try to throw something in here that maybe people don't know too much about, is reassociation. So cats instinctively don't pee or poop where they eat or play. So if you've got a place that your cat is going regularly, first step is to super deep clean, then start leaving treats in that area, start having play sessions in that area. If your cat won't get directly in that area, that could be a good indicator that it's not clean enough. Do another cleaning session. But then try to get them playing and eating directly on those spots. And that can reprogram their brains. This is now a playing and eating spot, so I can't pee here anymore.
Yeah.
And that can be really good for beds, especially. Make your bed the playing, eating, cuddling, all good things happen on the bed, and it becomes less appealing of a place to pee.
The only caveat I would have with that is that if your cat is disruptive at night, you don't want to play with your cat on the bed. Because then your cat learns that is a play area. And maybe he can get snacks on the bed, but yeah, I would tend to go with Feel Away spray on the bed, just as a, but yeah, like reprogramming, because cats do different things in different parts of their territory. And generally speaking, they don't like to eliminate where they eat or hunt because they don't want their prey to smell them. They don't want prey to smell their presence. So we have to look at it in terms of cats being both prey and predators. So when you frame everything in terms of cats being both prey animals and predatory beasties, things start to make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's it for today. What I do want to wrap up with, unless LeeAnna, did you have anything else?
No.
Okay. What I do want to wrap up with is, hey, this is, we're cat behavior consultants, and our business is Feline Behavior Solutions. And if you have any problems with your cats that you need help with, and this can go beyond Housesoiling, we work with inner cat aggression, introductions, aggression towards people. We work with cats who are exhibiting destructive behaviors like scratching.
Separation anxiety is coming up a little more often now.
Yeah. Pika is coming up.
And not just behavior issues, but also fun stuff too. Clicker training, enrichment, preparing to bring a new kitten home. There's good stuff too.
Yeah. So, or just if you want to learn how to prevent any behavior issues from happening, we help with that too. So
know your cats better.
Yeah. And we're happy to chat about whatever during a standard consultation. That's an hour-long Zoom session with either of us. And then we also have 30-day consultation packages. So you can learn about those on our website. It's felinebehaviorsolutions.com. And you can send us an email. Just send an email to hello@felinebehaviorsolutions.com. And we are happy to help. We have some articles on that website that might help you. And
recommend then products that we've tried that we love for our animals that we recommend to clients.
Yep, absolutely. So let us know if you have questions, problems, or if you want to hear about what we're going to talk about next week, or if you have suggestions, let us know, because we're going to try to do these things weekly, and they won't always be 45 minutes, but Housesoiling is
talk about around pee.
Oh my gosh, I could talk for hours and hours about cat pee and poop.
That's my life.
One of my favorite topics. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. And I'm glad we could answer some questions. And again, I'm Marci and
LeeAnna.
Yay. And we will see you next week. Bye.